Hi guys, it's Heidi. Welcome back to my channel. And yeah, I'm actually sitting down by the water. Just being quiet. It's a little noisy at the house. And in town it's very noisy. Let me show you where I am. That is what I'm looking at. Sitting underneath a tree. Yeah. So, yeah. It's actually quite nice. Some guys pitched up here. I presume it's his children. Little boy and little girl and a dog. They've gone down to the water. Anyway, there we go. Yeah. Anyway, today's Mother's Day, and I just want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. And yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you that you carried us for 9 months, or 8 months, or 7 months, or whatever it was. Yeah, in my case, my mother carried me for 9 months and 2 weeks. I was late. Anyway, and yeah, and thank you for going through the morning sickness. When Mom was pregnant with me, apparently my dad had the morning sickness and not my mother. And I do find that amusing. Yeah, guys, I've got notes. Anyway, thank you for going through the extreme pain when you gave birth to us. And if you had a C-section, thank you for scarring your body for us. And also the stretch marks. I don't know if those things ever go away. Thank you for the night shift, the nights that you stayed awake because we were sick. I just want to say thank you for sitting up all night with us to make sure that we're okay. Thank you for providing for us. All right? Thank you for providing clothes, food, shelter, whatever it was. Yeah. I did do another video on my other channel. I don't know if I can use the same video on 2 channels, so I'm doing a different one for this channel. And thank you for what you gave up for your children. Thank you that you gave up possibly a career, your own dreams of whatever it was that you wanted. And you chose to give it up in order to keep us. I do know that in many cases where the mother has chosen where she landed up pregnant and her husband or boyfriend or partner or whatever said to her, you have an abortion or you walk away. And she chose to walk away in order to keep you. These things happen, people. They happen. I want to say thank you to the mothers that did that. I want to say thank you to the mothers that gave up countless nights of sleep, that gave up countless hours being on your knees, praying and asking God for the very best for her children, maybe possibly pleading with God because her child was sick, laying on deathbed. Yeah. I just want to say thank you for everything that you gave up. I will leave a link to the other video, which goes more in depth. This one is just going to be short. Anyway. And in Proverbs 31, from verse 10 to verse 31, it talks there of the wife of noble character. That can also be titled the mother of noble character. Because, yeah, if you read there, I don't have my Bible with me, otherwise I would read it to you. This woman gives up a lot for her family. And I know many of those things my mom has been through. She spent hours knitting and I don't know about crochet work, but knitting. She always knitted and sewing. Those are the 2 things she always did in order to clothe us. and then she made clothes for other people in order to earn a little bit of income so she could put food on the table. How many times didn't she make a VIP? And there's a little dog running around here. Okay, I think it belongs to those people. Hope so. Yeah. How many times my mother made a VIP? For those of you overseas, a VIP is like a trap in order to catch birds, or rabbits or whatever, but mainly birds. It's you take a dish, washing basket, whatever, but a dish normally worked, and you stand it upside down at an angle like that with a stick and some string attached to, or fishing gut to the stick, with some seed underneath here, and the birds go eat, and you pull on the fishing line, and that goes down, and then you trap the birds underneath. How many times my mom didn't do that for us, just in order to feed us, right? And yeah, she would ask the grocer, she in town, of all the rotten stuff, all the food that's going bad that they can't sell. She asked for those things. And she just cut those bad parts out and she cooked the rest. Yeah, needless to say, we grew up healthy. Our immune system was really boosted. I'll put it that way. Anyway. And yeah, and mom, I'm just talking about my own mom because I don't know about anybody else's mother. I know about my own mother. She would get up when it's still dark, when she was still married to my dad, to my father. And she would see that the food is on the go, get the food ready and what have you, and make sure that us kids are ready for school and what have you. And yeah, she'd get up early. She'd work late into the night, sewing and knitting and doing whatever she's doing. And when we lived in Harding, I often saw my mom walk from town. Now, town where we lived and town wasn't that far. Possibly not that far. Maybe 1 or 2 kilometers or something. But she would walk. And I know from the bottom of the road coming up to our house, we lived on top of the hill, I could see her walking there, tired, carrying most of the time 1 bag, sometimes very seldom 2 bags. And she'd be walking back with us and for food for us that she'd got in town. And yeah, what my mother gave up for us, I will never know. How many meals she went without in order to feed us, that too I would never know. Yeah. So I just want to honor my mother, but also every mother out there, and say thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. Thank you for looking after us. Right? And I also want to say to the mothers that gave their children up for adoption, right? I want to say to you, you obviously had a good reason for doing that. You had a good reason because maybe you just could not look after the children. And you decided, you know what, I love this child enough to give birth to the child. And I also love the child enough to give it up for adoption, so that they could have a better life. Now, I'm getting emotional. I don't have children. I've never been pregnant, not that I know of. There was a time in my life where I don't really know what happened. So I thought I was pregnant, but they convinced me I was not pregnant. So I don't know, but I, I don't have kids. So I've never had that privilege. So, yeah, um, yeah. And kids, honor your mom and dad. If your mother and father is still alive, phone them, go see them, and say to them, thank you for whatever. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for giving up for me. Thank you for getting me through school, for clothes, for food, for whatever. Don't phone mom and dad up and say, hi mom, hi dad, I need cash, or I'm in trouble, or X, Y, and Z. Phone them up and say, hi, I was thinking about you. Are you okay? And I love you. Right? Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to leave the important stuff out. Yeah, our moms like to hear that we love them and we appreciate them. And you might also turn around and say, well, you don't know my mom. She's an absolute witch. You know, she's on drugs. She's an alcoholic. She's sleeping with all the men. You know, maybe she's sleeping with all the men in order to get some money to put food on the table. We don't know. All I know is that we must not judge. Because whatever we're judging, we're going to land up in that mess. And far worse. Because there's a scripture that says there, judge not and you will not be judged. Alright? So, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes our moms would choose their boyfriend or their husband over us. Or they will choose to believe them over us. That can hurt. That can certainly hurt. But you know what? Take that hurt to God and say, God, yes, my hurt. I'm hurt because my mom or my dad or this or that, whatever. And just speak your heart to God. Right? And leave the problem with God. Don't go say to God, here's the problem. Here's my hurt. I don't know what to do with it. You deal with it. Turn around, look at something else, and then rugby tackle God and get your problem or your hurt back. Don't do that, people. Just leave it with God. Let God deal with it. Alright? And yeah, I'm thinking of a radio. If you've got a radio or anything, I'm just thinking of a radio. There's lots of fish over there. Oh man, I need to bring a fishing rod. If you've got a radio that's broken, or a microwave that's broken, or whatever, something that's broken, and you take it to the person that actually fixes these things, you give it to them and you say, okay, this is what's wrong with it, this is what it's not doing, or this is what it is doing, and you leave it there. And you wait until that person phones you and says, listen, your radio is fixed, your microwave is fixed, or whatever. You know, you can come and fetch it. And you go and that's how things normally work. It works like it with God as well. You know, you take your problem to God, leave it there, let him deal with it. Don't keep taking the thing away from him because, I mean, yeah, the guy that's fixing your radio, how can he fix it if you keep taking the thing away from him? You got to leave it there. So, yeah, do that with your hurt as well. Take it to God and leave it there. One of the commandments says, honor your mom and dad, so that it may go well with you and that you may live a long life in the land that God is giving you. Right? It is always very good idea to honor your mother and father because it is the only commandment that has a promise attached to it, so that it may go well with you. Right? We need to honor our mom and dads. And for you guys that are adopted, you know what? You are so privileged if you are adopted. You are so privileged because your mom and dad chose you. My poor mother and my poor father, they just landed it with me. Shame. Yeah. Anyway. Just remember, deep down in our mom's heart, she loves us. Right? She really, truly does. We need to phone them and speak to our mothers. Right? I'm still privileged. My mom stays with me. And yeah, it can be difficult sometimes as well. She can get very angry with me as I her. As I her. How do you speak, Heidi? Okay. I also sometimes get angry with mom and upset with her. But you know what? She's still my mother. And I still honor her. And yeah, there's times where, she got involved with romance scam. Internet dating. She got very angry with me when I told her that that guy is not who he says he is. And yeah, okay, she has learned. She now knows that Mr. Tooth, we nicknamed him Mr. Tooth, he's already had 3 or 4 different names on the internet. And one thing about my mother, she doesn't forget. She doesn't forget her face, and she doesn't forget what you've said to her. Yeah, she doesn't forget. So I said to her, she must never die because she's the only one that knows where anything is in my house. Anyway, happy Mother's Day. I'm just waffling now. Anyway, guys, mommies, have a wonderful Mother's Day, and we do love you. Lots and lots of love. Bye.